Hey guys, yet another finger here on YouTube. So a while back, I made a video on the game Detention and I received so much more feedback than I ever expected. So first of all, thank you guys so much, not only for liking my videos, but I'm just really thankful for so many people willing to take the time and learn about our Taiwanese culture. And in the comment section, there's even a lot of people asking for more of these contents, so that is exactly what I'm going to do today. As you know, the same company that made Detention has just released their new game, Devotion. So in today's video, I'm going to cover the cultural background about this game and explain some Easter eggs and fun facts that only Taiwanese people would take a hint of it in the first place. I'll leave the time tags down in the description in case you're here specifically looking for answers to some part of the game. And now, without further ado, let's get to the video. So the name of this game already lies a secret. In Mandarin, there's quite a few words that can be pronounced several different ways, and its meanings become slightly different along with the pronunciation. You can think of it as sort of like record versus record. So anyway, the name of the game, before knowing the story, any native speaker would probably tell you that it is pronounced as還願. The first word, when it's pronounced as還, it means return. The second word, 愿, means wishes. In our culture, 还愿, to return a wish, basically means that you made a wish upon God. Then when your wish do actually come true, you have to go back to the temple or the place where you made your wish to the God and worship them, sort of thank them for helping you with your wish. But at the end of the game, in the song 美心sen, she said in the last sentence, so, 还愿. Now, when the word is pronounced 还 instead of 还, its meaning becomes still again. In this case, we can assume that Mei Xin is telling his dad she would still wish to be his daughter in the next life. Some would even further explain that since 还 is pronounced the same way as 还, which means child, the name of the game might also represent the child's dream and wishes. The child, of course, refers to Mei Xin. Moving on to some fun facts that absolutely only Taiwanese people would be able to understand. First of all, the house featured in the game looks exactly the same as any Taiwanese grandparent's house. So already right after the game is out, the internet is making fun of the fact that instead of a horror game, this game should be named as your grandma's house simulator. And right now, it's been a huge trend in Taiwan for people to post pictures of their own grandparents' house and put it right next to the house in the game to compare the similarity. A lot of foreigners also seemed to be confused when a doorbell was the bird sound. And that's actually also the most common doorbell sound in early Taiwan. My grandparents' house also has this doorbell sound effect. So this house for me is kind of a mixture of both sides of my grandparents' house. The interior design is mostly the same as my mom's home, and half of the furniture in-game I've seen in my dad's home. But it is not until this game that I realized all Taiwanese grandparents' house looks almost the same. It's so crazy to me. Another thing is this symbol you will see next to the Mandarin characters in the child books in-game. These are called 注音. It's basically the Mandarin alphabet. But what makes it more special is that currently in the world, Taiwan is the only country that still uses this system of alphabets. As you can see, we have it in all books that are meant to be read by children. All the other places use pinyin, which is written in English alphabets. For a lot of foreigners to learn Chinese, at least in Taiwan we let them choose to learn 注音 or pinyin. But because of the simplicity and familiarity, most choose the English alphabet version. But as a Taiwanese, honestly, a lot of specific Mandarin sounds just can't be accurately translated to English alphabet. So it's kind of hard for me to accept that so many people are trying to learn Chinese through this English mindset. But of course, that's just my personal opinion. The last two things I think is at least worth shortly mention is the subtitle. If you're a foreigner, you're probably playing with English sub, but for Taiwanese, if you're playing with the Mandarin subtitle, you'd soon notice that the font and the color is exactly the same as old TV shows in Taiwan, which is just really nostalgic to us. And of course, this. You get this in-game from the fish's eyes. It's actually a lot of Taiwanese childhood toys and collection. Even till today, if you go to a night market, which is must go when you visit Taiwan by the way, there's still this mini game using this type of glass balls. In Japan, they have a drink where they place one of these in each glass of soda. It's also very commonly seen in Taiwan. So of course, a huge part of the game is surrounding religions, beliefs, and superstitions. To be clear, this so-called goddess in-game is not any part of Taiwanese culture. It is a fictional figure. But lots of people said it's most likely inspired by a real goddess from China, which was a goddess of the washing room. However, next part of the game where the father has to go through hell into his own soul is totally based on the custom we do called 观落阴. To do it, you must cover your eyes with a red blanket and some money for the afterworld. It is believed that through this ceremony, you'd be able to visit the afterlife and talk with your dead relatives. The proceed would seem sort of like being hypnotized in Western culture. As intense as it was presented in the game, here's a meme for a good laugh. Next is this concept of the year of animal, the zodiac sign. In lunar calendar, there are 12 animals to represent the years, respectively rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. For example, this year is the year of pig. So children that are born this year has the zodiac sign of pig. Me personally has the zodiac sign of mice. So then because the mice year is next year and there are in total 12 zodiac signs, so it goes 12 years in a row. You can pretty much tell that I was born either 11, 23, or 35 years ago. But I think the answer here should be pretty obvious that I will turn 23 this year. So pro tips, if you ever want to know the age of someone of a similar cultural background, but don't want to ask directly to sound rude, just ask their zodiac sign. Do some math and you'll know their age. A lot of foreigners also get confused by the name mentor in-game. So in our culture, we call psychics 老师 out of respect, which is the exact same words as how we would call our school teachers. Which is why for even natives, at the beginning of the game of that phone call, some might confuse that this teacher or mentor he is a teacher from Beijing school or something. Last thing I think it's so important and so glad they included in game is this storybook that features a similar vibe to Taiwanese aboriginal groups. Other than customs and religions influenced by Chinese culture, the aboriginals are also very important. We have currently 16 different aboriginal tribes in Taiwan, with over 10 different languages spoken just in this small island. Sadly, recently a list of languages going extinct also includes one of the tribes in Taiwan. The only person now who can speak the language here is already in the last year of her life. Last, on the topic of superstitions, I do have some personal stories and experience to share. Although the game featured Taiwan several decades ago, I would say that even till today, Taiwanese people still have a strong belief for superstitions. Just like in the game, a lot of Taiwanese parents nowadays still have a lot of trust in these so-called mentors. For example, if you want to marry someone, but the mentor says you won't get along, most parents will probably do whatever it takes to break you up, no matter how much they like your fiancé. Yes, that is 100% true. When I was in high school, some of my friends are planning for a trip to one of the islands, but one of my classmates' parents refused to let him come with us. You would think that perhaps they don't want to spend that money, or perhaps they already have some family plans, but no. They refused to let him go because apparently a fortune teller said that he might drown this year. So it is important to at all costs avoid any travel that crosses the sea. As unbelievable as it sounds, it is actually very common in Taiwan. My name was given by a fortune teller. Every year, my mom forces me to cut a part of my hair and my nails and submit it to a psychic to make a charm out of it to protect me. So as much as I don't believe in this kind of stuff, as long as it makes them feel safe, I generally have nothing against it. But sometimes things could go a bit too far. Earlier last year, I had an opportunity to teach in a high school in Europe for a while. My parents almost wouldn't let me go because according to them, they went to a fortune teller behind my back, and the fortune teller claims that I might get pregnant in my early 20s, so they thought it was important to keep me around. I'm not going to lie, I was pretty disturbed by this, and don't get me wrong, if anyone has their own beliefs, I can totally respect them doing their own thing, but to go behind my back and drag me into all these without asking me first whether or not I want my future to be told by someone I've never even met before, and try to make what was supposed to be my own decision for me, I think all this is just making me feel a bit uncomfortable. I'm sorry if I'm turning this into a complaint. I will stop now, but anyway, you get how Taiwanese everyday life could be strongly affected by superstitions. People who trust mentor more than doctors do exist. The scariest part is that it's not even uncommon at all. But that's basically all I have to say about devotion. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please give it a like and please subscribe to join me on my finger journey. And if you do have some more questions about the cultural background of this game, feel free to leave a comment down below. I will try my best to give more details. Bye!